In the beginning, there was no confusion. You didn't have to guess how he felt. You didn't have to analyze his messages. You didn't have to read between the lines, because he was clear. Not just in what he said, but in how he showed up. He texted you first. He stayed present when you were together. He leaned in naturally. There was no tension, no mixed signals, no feeling like you had to figure him out. It felt easy, and more importantly, it felt real. There was a sense that something was building, not rushed, not forced, just unfolding. You could feel his interest, his curiosity, the way he paid attention to you, and at some point, you relaxed into it. You stopped questioning things, stopped holding back, started meeting him at the same level, because why wouldn't you? He made it feel safe to do that. There was a moment where something shifted, not in a bad way, not in a dramatic way, just deeper. The conversations got more honest. The silence between you felt more comfortable. There was less surface and more substance. It wasn't just attraction anymore. It felt like something that could actually become something. And that's when it happened. Not immediately, not obviously, but slowly. He started holding back. At first, it was subtle. So subtle, you almost ignored it. His messages were still there, but shorter. Still warm, but less engaging. He still saw you, but something in his energy felt slightly different. Like he wasn't fully leaning in the same way anymore. You couldn't point to anything specific. Nothing went wrong, and that's what made it confusing. Because when something ends clearly, you can process it. But when something changes quietly, you start questioning yourself. Did I do something? Was I too open? Did I move too fast? So you adjust, not in a desperate way, but in a careful way. You become a little more aware, a little more tuned in. You try to bring things back to how they felt before. More presence, more effort, more intention. But something in him doesn't fully meet you there anymore. And this is the moment most people misunderstand, because it looks like he's losing interest. But that's not always what's happening. Sometimes it's something else entirely. He didn't suddenly stop caring. If anything, he started thinking more. That's the shift no one sees. Because in the beginning, he wasn't thinking. He was just feeling, reacting naturally, showing up without overanalyzing it. But the moment things started to feel real, something else came online. Awareness. Not just of you, but of what this could become. And that changes everything. Because now, it's not just, this feels good. It becomes, what does this mean? Where is this going? Am I ready for this? And for some men, that awareness doesn't create clarity, it creates hesitation. Not because they don't want you, but because they start questioning themselves. Can I be consistent? Can I handle something serious right now? What if I mess this up? And instead of saying that out loud, they pull back. Not completely, not intentionally, just enough to create space. And that space is what you feel. So naturally, you move toward him. You try to reconnect, bring back the energy, find that version of him again. But the more you move toward him, the more he feels something he hasn't resolved yet. So he holds back more, not to hurt you, not to push you away, but because he's unsure. And this is where everything can either break or deepen. Because most people react to this moment with pressure, more questions, more effort, more trying to fix what changed. But that often makes it worse, because he already feels something building that he's not fully comfortable with yet. So the pressure makes him step back further, and suddenly, something that felt easy starts to feel fragile. But here's the truth that changes everything. He didn't hold back because he felt less. He held back because it started to matter more than he expected. And the people who handle this moment well don't chase that shift. They don't panic when the energy changes. They don't try to force things back to how they were. They stay steady, present, but not pushing. They allow space without creating distance. Because when someone feels that they can step back slightly without losing you, something inside them relaxes. The pressure drops. The overthinking slows down, and slowly, they start leaning back in again. Not because you pulled them, but because you didn't make it heavier than it already felt to them. And that's the difference between something that fades and something that actually has a chance to grow.